Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the single greatest podcast in the history of the internet, ranked number 1 by New York Times and any other news publication that you may think about. Don't look that up. Don't look it up. Just don't worry about it. Why is it the greatest podcast of all time? Well, let me tell you why. We're covering two of the greatest mediums in all of entertainment, sports and music. That is what we cover here at the 3&D podcast. Now, why is it called the 3&D podcast? 3&D, for those of you who don't know, is a role in a basketball team, pretty popular in the NBA. You know, for those of you who watch the NBA, guys like Terrence Mann or Michael Kidd-Gilchrist way back in the day, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt. No, he's not as great at threes. But NBA fans, you know what I'm saying. Guys who can shoot the three ball well and play some good defense. This podcast is for sports fans and music fans. Now, here's the deal. I'll get more into the structure of the podcast later on. This is just an intro. I'm just going to tell you what this podcast is about, what we're about here at 3&D, and what you can expect for future podcasts. So, first of all, a little bit about myself. My name is Noah Alvidres. I'm a student at the University of Arkansas, a senior. I was born in Kansas and raised in Texas, so that'll be important to know later on. I would like these to go on for around 20, 25, 30 minutes, probably longer when I have guests on. For now, it's just me. But I also would like these to be extemporaneous, which, for those of you who don't know, kind of just means a loosely based structure, bullet points that I kind of just talk about. And I want you guys to know what's going on in the pod as it goes on. Like, I want you guys to know what the structure looks like, but it's not like I'm not reading off a script or anything. I'm kind of just improvising based off of a loose structure. I am a broadcast journalism major, by the way, and my goal is to be in sports media. So I naturally love sports. I've been watching it my entire life. My mother went to KU. Dad went to UT. I have multiple siblings, 3 total. One of them went to UT. One of them goes to KU. The other one graduated here at University of Arkansas. So I call them my family blue bloods, is Arkansas, Texas, Kansas. Razorbacks, Longhorns, Jayhawks. Those are the 3 college schools that I'll be fixating on. But yeah, Arkansas, Texas, Kansas, those are my favorite colleges. I currently go to the University of Arkansas. I will be wearing probably more sports-related outfits, I guess, if that really matters to you. But yeah, I'll be wearing Texas, Kansas, Arkansas, Chiefs, Seahawks. I mean, we'll get to it. Don't worry. So the NBA. I am a huge NBA fan. I love, honestly, all teams, all players. However, ever since I was a kid, I grew up watching basketball around the 2012-2013 NBA Finals, which, for those of you who know, LeBron James, Miami Heat. I fell in love with LeBron James in the NBA. Pause. Whenever I was in 3rd grade. And ever since then, I've been a massive LeBron James fan, and I've kind of just followed him wherever he goes. I also am a fan of the Dallas Mavericks too. Like, for sure, if they're playing, I'm rooting for them, of course. The NFL. I was born in Kansas. My mom is from Kansas. She's a Chiefs fan. She's also a Packers fan. I am a big Chiefs fan, and my whole family. We're a Chiefs family, basically. But growing up, since I had multiple siblings, especially me and my brother, being really competitive, we wanted to make our own ultimate teams for each sport, basically the NBA, the NFL, and the MLB. And my team was the Seahawks. So we've got the Chiefs and the Seahawks for the NFL. Again, for this podcast, I will be talking about these leagues in general, but I just want you to know about where my fandom lies to kind of contextualize you a little bit. Moving on to the MLB. I was born in Kansas, raised in Texas, so I was raised a Texas Rangers fan. Now, you may ask yourself, why am I not a Cowboys fan? It's because grew up, my dad never liked the Cowboys. My mom didn't care for them. So naturally, just grew up a Chiefs fan. And then that wasn't the case for the Rangers. My dad loved the Rangers. Mom loved the Rangers. So I grew up big Rangers fan. Pretty heartbreaking 2011 World Series against the Cardinals. But, it's all right. They won in 2022 anyways. So, and then obviously Kansas City Royals as well, which they've been a little bit better recently. They won the World Series in 2015, so that was great. That was 10 years ago. College sports, probably the best one. I love college sports. football and basketball specifically, but I also do get into baseball. I work for the Arkansas broadcast, so I'm forced to watch all Arkansas sports, and honestly, I'm okay with it. So in a way, I'm not necessarily forced to. I'm getting paid to do it, and I get to follow it very closely. So I absolutely love it. I follow Arkansas baseball very closely because I'm watching basically every single game as I'm working the broadcasts. But football, basketball, baseball, Arkansas, Kansas, Texas, and the SEC. I'm a big SEC guy, Big 12 guy. I grew up as a Big 12 guy, Texas and Kansas, obviously. So I will be primarily focusing on the Big 12 and the SEC when it comes to college sports, but again, covering it for the most part in general. And then any obscure sports where there's anything like in a freaking lacrosse, the pro lacrosse league or something like that, or the women's softball league. Well, that did just end, which, by the way, Bree Ellis, Arkansas champion. That's awesome. The pro volleyball league, I'm a big fan of the pro volleyball league, so things are happening in those sports. I will mention them briefly. I have a 2K league that I do every single year that I've done for the past 3 years, and I love it. I do it every year, and I will update you guys on the happenings of my 2K league. It's purely just from my imagination, and it's purely from my own creation. I've done leagues on video games, whether it's Madden, college football, NBA, ever since I was sentient. As long as I've been alive, I have been doing leagues, and I absolutely love it, and I will never stop. So I'm going to give you guys updates on that as well, on fantasy leagues that I'm in or around. I have a big friend group of mine. They're doing a league. I am not in the league because I didn't do the punishment last year because I lost. I know. I'm sorry. I still feel bad about that. But I'll probably, give some fantasy football updates. But yeah, there are tons of things to talk about sports every single week. And I am really excited to talk to you guys about that. Now, music. Music is one of my favorite things on this planet, just like sports. They are both so near and dear to my heart. I take my music extremely seriously. I am a drummer. I am a part of my student ministry's worship band, and I've been there for 3 years now. And I love playing music. I love listening to music. I love analyzing music. And I use Spotify. So you best believe I'll be looking at those Spotify stats every single day, basically. I have this thing that I do, actually multiple things. I'm going to have to go ahead and list these off for you guys real quick. One of my favorite things about music is you can analyze it, and you can also attribute awards to them in your own head if you want. You can do whatever you want. So naturally, many years ago, starting in 2019 when I got Spotify for the first time, I started a Song of the Month program, which just started with just one song in 1 month. I would think, what was the song that I listened to, that I vibed with the most, that I attribute most to this time of my life for this 1 month? And I would choose one song and put it on there. Nowadays, I can't even, it's at least 3 songs a month now. I have songs of the month. So I've been doing that since 2019. So a long time now. Songs of the week. This is what I started this past year because it's every single week. I will think the same exact thing as Song of the Month, except just on a week basis. What song really was I listening to a lot throughout this week? And I will bring it up, and I will tell you guys what I've been listening to. Artists of the Month. Within the Songs of the Week slide, I started Artists of the Month. You might think, why not put it in the Songs of the Month? I don't know. It's just the way that I do things. I attribute an Artist of the Month, an artist that popped off for whatever month it is that I've been listening to more or just I listen to the most. I will attribute them song or Artist of the Month. Songs of the Year and Artists of the Year. This is a thing I've been doing every single year since 2019. It's the same thing, of course, Spotify Wrapped. Spotify Wrapped is like the Super Bowl for me, for music. I look forward to it every single year, every single December, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, that comes on that year. I am so excited to see who won Artist of the Year. I'm so excited to see what won Song of the Year. Yeah, so now I'm going to talk about who are my favorite artists, favorite genres, just to give you a good idea of what I listen to. So I'm one of those people who will say I listen to, if you ask them, what's your favorite genre? What kind of music do you listen to? And they say, I listen to just a little bit about everything. There are tons of people who say that, and they just mean they listen to pop. I genuinely listen to, everything. I love all kinds of music. Let me just go ahead and read off. I like pop, obviously, hip-hop/rap, hip-hop, rap, pop rap, rock, multiple different types of rock. So we've got indie rock, modern rock, classic rock, 70s, 80s, 90s. I love it all. I love classical music as well. I don't listen to it a whole lot, but like mainly when I'm doing homework, I'm sitting down, editing, doing that kind of quiet office time stuff, I'll listen to classical music. And then a lot of CCM, Christian music, worship music, I'm a big fan of. So I've got a wide range. Some of my favorite artists of all time, the kind of big three who they have been taking over the Artist of the Year over the past 6 years has been Ariana Grande, Tame Impala, and Gorillaz. Everybody knows who Ariana Grande is. Tame Impala is a single artist who makes psychedelic rock music. A lot of people think, he says it's a band because they perform live with the band, but he makes the music by himself. His name's Kevin Parker. He's extremely talented. And then there's Gorillaz, kind of similar to Tame Impala in that it creates the illusion of a band, but it's all created by one guy, or the music is. Damon Albarn and Jamie Hewlett. Jamie Hewlett was the artist for all of the fictional characters that make up Gorillaz. And then Damon Albarn is the guy who writes and produces all the music for it. And I absolutely love it. Some recent artists that have been coming up over the last few years have been Men I Trust, which is a kind of like a indie bedroom pop sort of deal. Morgan Wallen, which I'm sure most of you guys know. I used to not really like country music at all, but my brother put me on Morgan Wallen last August, so a year ago from now. And I just absolutely love his music now because I got a truck, so of course I had to own it if I had a truck. And then Joji, big Joji guy. For those of you who don't know, he actually used to be a YouTuber. He made a bunch of like comedy skits on the internet, and now he's an extremely talented musical artist. He makes kind of like alternative pop. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. Alternative / indie pop. And he's really good. There are tons more artists that I could get into now, but that would take way too much time. And we'll get through them. For the music segment, I will give you guys my songs of the week, the artists that I've been listening to. If there are any major events happening in music, like an artist dropping an album or artist beef, I'll probably go over that. But mainly if it's just artists that I like, if it's artists I don't really care much for, won't talk too much about it. Music segment will generally be much shorter and more concise than the sports segment. I'm putting a general emphasis on sports when it comes to this podcast. I want to be clear about that because music is a little bit more straightforward in terms of like, this is what I've been listening to. Plus, if you feel so inclined, I would love to hear what kind of music you guys are listening to. Please comment down below, share this to other people. Let me know what kind of music you're listening to through the comments, and I will absolutely shout you out, and I will listen to it and give you my thoughts about what music you're listening to if you want to comment down below. So please do that. So yeah, that generally about wraps it up for what the general consensus and what the structure of this podcast is going to look like. I am so excited. This is something I've wanted to do for so long. I want to say a quick thank you to Professor Armstrong, who has helped me so much with the production of this entire thing. I wouldn't have any idea of what I was doing without him. And I am really looking forward to this becoming a full-on thing for as long as possible. And I really hope you guys tune in and watch. One more thing, to end off every single pod, I like to just read the Bible verse of the day from the Bible app. Today, it says, he said to him, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. Matthew 22:37 CSB. If you take nothing else from this podcast, I implore that you take that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Please comment, please like, please subscribe. Tell your friends. This podcast is coming, and it is absolutely the next big thing. Thank you so much. Can't get you out of my head.